You are standing in the wreckage of your own resolve, staring at a screen that now looks like a digital graveyard. The high vibration man you were yesterday has vanished, replaced by a hollow shell who is currently drowning in the familiar, suffocating waves of post-relapse shame and deep psychological. The tragedy of the relapse cycle is that most men believe they fail because they are weak, uninspired, or lacking in masculine discipline. They treat the relapse as a moral failure of the soul, when in reality, it is a predictable failure of an unmanaged and very. You aren't relapsing because you wanted the pleasure. You are relapsing because your brain's delta phos-B levels have reached a critical threshold. This is the molecular switch of addiction that creates a hypersensitivity to triggers, while simultaneously eroding the braking system of your executive and very. According to Dr. George Koob, addiction is defined by the dark side of dopamine, where the motivation to use is driven more by the need to escape the low than the desire to feel the high. You are relapsing to resolve a chemical debt. You reference the incentive salience theory. Your brain has tagged certain environments, times of day, and emotional states as high-value targets for release. When you enter these zones, your System 1 brain takes over, bypassing your logic and driving you toward the cliff before you. The real reason you keep relapsing is that you are trying to fight the urge rather than architecture your environment. You are bringing a knife to a nuclear war, relying on a flickering prefrontal cortex to battle a limbic system that has been. Imagine a pilot trying to fly a plane with a broken altimeter. He thinks he is climbing when he is actually diving. On day 12, your brain gives you a false reading of boredom or stress, and you correct the flight by crashing into. Most men fail because they view the urge as a monster to be defeated. They don't realize that the monster is actually their own motive force looking for a job to do. When you try to kill the energy, it eventually explodes, and the twist that keeps you stuck is the abstinence violation effect. One small peak or one minor slip leads to the thought, I've already failed, so I might as well go all the way. This is the cognitive trap that turns A. To end the cycle forever, you must implement identity-based prevention immediately. You must stop saying, I am trying to quit, and start saying, I am a man who does not do that. If the behavior doesn't match the identity, the brain. Practical framework step 1, trigger mapping. You must identify the precursor emotions that lead to the relapse. Is it loneliness? Is it the stress of a deadline? Once you name the ghost, it loses 50% of its power over your and. Practical framework step 2, the 15-minute buffer. When a high-intensity urge hits, you must commit to doing anything else for exactly 15 minutes. Research shows that most chemical spikes have a half-life of less than a quarter hour, if not actively. And practical framework step 3, environment sanitization. You cannot be a saint in a sinner's room. You must remove the digital proximity of your vice. If your phone is your weapon of relapse, it must be locked away during your most vulnerable. Expectation reset. You will not willpower your way to 90 days. You will system your way there. You must stop trusting yourself in the dark. You are a biological entity with hardwired vulnerabilities, and you must respect the power of the end. The reality of the serial relapser is that he is practicing failure. Every time you give in, you are thickening the neural pathway of surrender. You are making the next relapse easier and the next rise much harder. You are digging A. You will notice that relapse usually happens when you are halt hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. These are the states where your neural armor is at its thinnest. You must learn to defend the fortress during these specific high-risk biological and very. The world wants you to keep relapsing because a man who cannot control his own loins is a man who can be easily manipulated into buying things he doesn't need to impress people he doesn't like. By failing, you remain a very profitable. You might feel a sudden surge of self-pity after a fall. This is the relapse after burn. It is the brain's way of keeping you in the low so that you seek comfort in the very thing that broke you. Do not. Tears of exhaustion might hit you when you realize how long you've been fighting this ghost. You are tired of the day zero speeches and the resetting of the clock. This exhaustion is your final fuel. Use it to build the end. The suspense of your recovery is the decision in the moment. Will you be the man who folds or the man who folds the energy into his work? You are the director of the movie, and the scene is end. Your relationships will remain shallow as long as you are relapsing in secret. You cannot connect with others when you are hiding from yourself. The double life is the ultimate killer of masculine intimacy and deep, soulful, and very. This is the philosophy of the architect. You are moving beyond trying and into structuring. You are treating your life as a lab where you are the subject and the scientist. You are the master of the environment, and the emotional weight of the real reason is the feeling of radical self-honesty. You are finally admitting that you cannot handle the temptation yet. This humility is the first step toward the true power of the unshakable end. But the danger is in shame cycling. If you hate yourself for the relapse, you create the stress response that triggers the next one. You must forgive the failure while correcting the protocol. You must be a firm coach too. One moment of total commitment to the protocol is worth more than 1,000 promises to be better. You are choosing systems over slogans. You are choosing long-term freedom over short-term relief every single day of your journey is a war of attrition. You are starving the addict brain until it eventually withers and dies, leaving only the sovereign man behind. You are the general of your own internal army, and the victory is very end. If this video gave you real value, tap the thanks button. Your support helps me keep creating deeper content like this. Every thanks is a spark that keeps this mission alive. Your support means more than you know. Real wisdom deserves real energy. Drop a thanks to fuel the next level. The suspense of the next urge is the source of your new tactical focus. You are no longer scared of the urge. You are ready for the drill. You are the master of the trigger, the captain of the end. As the sun sets on your clean day, you stand in the integrity of a man who did what he said he would do. You are the retained man who stayed, the architect of victory, and the one who has. The final silence of this script is the silence of self-respect. No lies, no secrets. Just the steady, rhythmic pulse of a man who has finally, beautifully, and eternally learned how to stay in the light and vary.